I just bought a Porsche for $225.
Say what you want about Copart, but I absolutely love it. I know there's a lot of mixed opinions about it, but honestly, deals like this is it just makes my day. Obviously, I have no idea what kind of condition this Porsche is in right now, but Copart says it's run and drive. It does have a junk title, but it's a V8 Cayenne S that I bought for a $225 bid. With shipping and fees, it's gonna be about 500 bucks, which is still well worth it. Actually, never mind. Looks like it's more like 605, but again, still totally okay with it. Let's see what we've got. All right, guys, I'm so excited for this thing. My first Porsche, finally. So, surprise, surprise, the transporter said it doesn't start. Not the first time that Copart says something starts, but man, this thing is sweet. The interior is in really good condition. For 212,000 miles, this thing is absolutely awesome. Look at this seat, not a single rip. Yeah, there's definitely wear, but no rips. And then, this is something I'm really excited for because I think it might have a rear diff lock. Maybe they have these little bulbs on here for all models, but I know that all of them came equipped with center diff, and some, I believe, got the rear diff lock. And well, I do plan on taking this thing off-road. That's pretty much all it's good for, considering the fact that it's a junk title. All right, so let's start with trying to jump it. 4.5 liter V8, baby. Oh yeah. All right, come on. All right, we do have oil and it's not super dark, so that's good. All right. We have the key cylinder on the left side. How cool is that? All right. Yes! Okay, it died. Give it some revs. Oh, died again. That is not good. Because I did have... Whatever, let's keep going. Never turn off the boost. Keep giving me all the boost. Huh. Okay, I think some revs is what it needed. Look at that, we're running. I gotta let our alternator charge up the battery a little bit so that it doesn't keep dying on us. Listen to that V8, yes! We got a Bose sound system. Ah, oh, that's pretty nice in here, guys, look at that. I mean, I usually don't like interiors that are not black, but I mean, come on, it's a Porsche. It's a Porsche, and it's all mine, yes! Hell yeah. Let's go on our first drive in our $225 Porsche Cayenne. It moves. That's all I could ask for. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my brand new 2004 Porsche Cayenne. Doesn't even look like we have any leaks. That's kind of weird. We're completely missing our valve stem core, whatever those things are called. Same thing over here. Yeah, I don't know why would somebody remove those. That's weird. Potentially they were stuck somewhere and that's why this is all covered in sand. Maybe somebody already had some fun with this thing off-road. Well, hopefully they're not going to be the last. All right, now that the tires are filled up and for now are holding air, let's take it for a drive, shall we? We are gonna have quite a bit of annoying beeps from our parking assist because I'm assuming the sensors that are on the edge of the bumper are completely ripped out. There's no way that these didn't come with heated seats, right? I would think every single spec of these would have heated seats, but I cannot find the controls for them at all. Look at that, we got nav.
Please follow the arrows on the display.
All right, well, we can turn that off. The power steering seems to be a little heavy, but maybe that's because I got used to the Q7 over there. And our light just went away for our steering angle sensor. That usually throws a warning until you drive around a little bit whenever you have a dead battery. This thing seems to be completely drivable as it is. It is very sad that whoever was insuring this car decided to give it a junk title. Unfortunately, in my state, it is very common for insurances to give junk titles when they really shouldn't be. They don't do salvage titles for older cars. It is what it is. We can't really do anything about it, but man, all I can say for sure is that I'm very happy about our brand new Porsche. Purring like a kitten. We don't have a check engine light, guys. Can you imagine that? There's still a possibility that check engine light would pop up as we keep driving it around. Some of them take a little while to activate, but not a misfire, not a check engine light, not an airbag light. All right, well, there's a couple of things I'm gonna do on this car, but after that, I think we're gonna have some proper fun with it. As much fun as we can. And I'm gonna keep it for as long as it mechanically survives, which probably isn't gonna be long considering the amount of stress I'm planning to put on it. But this is gonna be a real true test to the durability of a 212,000 mile Porsche Cayenne S. Look at how nice this thing looks now that it's wet and it's been sitting in the rain. The paint fade is now hidden under a layer of water, and this thing looks absolutely beautiful apart from the bumper being damaged. You could look at this and be like, wow, that is one clean Cayenne. Regardless, our off-roading trip is coming up real soon, and we have these Q7 wheels that came off of my diesel, and it happened to come with these almost brand new all-terrains that were installed literally months before the seller got into an accident and turned the car into insurance, and they brought it to Copart. We're gonna keep this thing for as long as it'll let us, but we're also not really going to maintain it a whole lot. I'm sorry, but I don't need to. This thing is just gonna be a toy until it is no longer drivable. Not only are we gonna throw some all-terrains on it, I'm gonna make a couple of free modifications to our Porsche Cayenne that will improve the experience that we're gonna have in it. We have some sort of wheel locks on here. So that's gonna make my life a little harder, but it's okay. All right, I managed to get one of these out using a 16mm bolt extractor. So hopefully this is gonna work for the rest of them. Yay. And this actually brings us to the first modification, free modification I'm gonna do on this. And that will be ditching our sway bar. If you're not familiar, in off-road applications, sway bars are frequently not present because that allows for your wheels to articulate further, and that is helpful to gain more traction because that'll allow the wheel to go down lower and reach the ground if it's in a situation where the wheels are just up in the air. Oh wow. I think in order to get this bolt out, I have to have the axle removed because it just keeps hitting the axle, at least the boot, and I can't bend the boot back and far enough without removing the axle. That's inconvenient, to say the least. Muffler kind of gets in the way, and well, that brings us to the second thing I was gonna do here. I think you know where I'm going with this. I almost intentionally made the welds as bad as I possibly could, and that's why we have these metal zip ties as a little backup plan in case this weld here that holds the exhaust to the hanger fails. I mean, they seem to be pretty solid. Everything seems to be in place and not moving around. I'm positive there's a million exhaust leaks in all of these connections, but we don't care about exhaust leaks. Now for this next part, I really do want to apologize. I ran into a microphone malfunction without noticing it, so there's going to be some poor audio, and I'm going to do as much voiceover as I can just to make up for that, but it should be resolved within a few minutes. Now I do have a bit of a sponsorship deal today. Vevor were kind enough to send me their product, and just to show you how much trust I have in it, I'm going to do something that's going to hurt me emotionally and very deeply. That was a bit too good of a hit. I gotta do it again. Now I have twice the amount of work to do, and here I actually ripped through the metal because I decided to use the sharp part of the pry bar. Probably not a smart idea. Now you might be wondering why. Doing stuff like this is what tells me that I cannot be whistling diesel, because hurting cars like this, it hurts. It like actually hurts me emotionally. Even when I bought the said car for $500. Unlike whistling diesel though, the reason why I did this is so that I can fix it. And that's where Vevor comes in. Now if you guys are unfamiliar with Vevor, they're known for having some cheaper than normal tools. Their slogan is literally tough tools, half price. This is not the first time I've had Vevor tools. I've purchased them before without any kind of sponsorship, so I do believe in the brand and I think they make decent stuff. Now for our spot welder, I guess the pro spot welder, here's everything that comes in the kit. Now, please be aware that I know nothing about using this. I've never used one of these before, and my welding knowledge is pretty limited to the stuff you just saw me do recently. I will admit I tried very, very little on this exhaust, but even when I try hard, I can't say that it's a whole lot better than we ended up with here. So now we ended up with some pretty sizable dents, one of which actually ripped through the metal. First things first, we gotta prep the surface. Next I have to ground the welder to the same panel that I'm working on, and I decided to use this bolt right here, which seems to have a pretty good access and is going to hold our ground down. And next we just put this tool to work. All I have to do is place the tip of the slide hammer onto the panel I'm trying to pull out. And when I pull the trigger, it creates a tiny little arc that melts this tip to the door and allows me to slide hammer it out. We are definitely making progress. 100% the dent has decreased. This is gonna be a little more involved. Our first task will be to adjoin these pieces of metal with a regular welder. Okay, I mean seriously, this looks pretty decent. Obviously, some improvement could be made, but considering the fact that normally you would throw a bond on top and just finalize this a little better, this is really good. Okay, I got really aggressive with the last couple of spot welds, and because of that we did make a little hole, but if you look close enough, I am blown away. I mean, it's safe to say that our dent is gone, and whatever is left in there from all this spot welding, that should just get mudded in. I cannot recommend this enough. I'm pretty sure this spot welder is about $200 and I think that is very well worth it. I think this is gonna be one of my favorite tools. Like when you need it, you really need it. And if you guys are interested in picking up one of these, use the link in the description. And to finalize this little project of ours that we created for ourselves, I am gonna use some body filler. This is gonna be a very quick job. I'm not gonna try hard at all, but we might as well try and make it look a little better than it does, because I feel like a lot of people are gonna have questions. Here we have a little bit of Bondo, a little bit of hardener, probably in incorrect proportions, but oh well. And then we simply layer it on, like nothing ever happened. And after about 30 minutes, when it dries, you can sand it down and then apply more Bondo. And lastly, once I'm happy enough with my results and everything is sanded down and it's pretty smooth, we are ready for paint. All right, and here's the finished product. I will say on camera, the paint matching looks a lot worse than in person. I must admit, I definitely expected the paint matching to be terrible because I just used a random can of black spray paint. But what really matters is our body work. So we do have some paint running here. Wow, that is very visible on camera. Again, in person, it's not as bad. But this is where we had that hole that ripped the metal. And there's definitely a little bit of a noticeable like little indentation, but it's very, very minor. And if I had spent more time with Bondo, I'm sure I would have gotten that out. And then here's where our big dent was. And I think it's a little elevated. Again, that's Bondo. For my first time doing this, and for me really not trying very hard, it looks okay. I'm fine with that. And I actually just realized, looks like this thing hit a deer, just like many of the other cars I've been buying recently. They have deer damage. And I know that because there's tiny bits of fur in places like this. I wonder if I should cut up the bumper on the other side just to make it match. Because if both sides look like this, I think we're gonna improve our off-roading capability and we're not going to rip off our bumper as much when we approach big inclines from the sides. All right, and here goes our more or less finished result. I think that's quite a bit more even now, and we have better access to our wheels, meaning that we're less likely to have our bumper rip off. I really love how aggressive this looks with the wheels just sticking out like that. I think that looks awesome. Obviously, if you look close, it looks a lot less awesome, but it still looks functional. And function is what we really care about, not the looks. And speaking of function, there's one thing we really do want to be functional when we go off-roading or rallycross racing or anything that involves cars and speed and a lot of things that you might crash into. And that would be our brake fluid. In the Cayenne, it is located right here. And even though we might be good on the amount of fluid, looks like we are pretty full, we don't really know what kind of condition the brake fluid is in. Obviously, yes, you can kind of look at it and see how dark it is, but that's not really the most reliable method of checking our brake fluid. And that's where my new sponsor comes in, Tasman. And see what it tells us. We're at 2.5%. And based on the manual, 2.5% is actually pretty good. It gave us a green light. That means that our brake fluid is perfectly usable. But if we had more than 3%, then we would probably consider changing this. This thing also comes with a pretty nice case to keep this tool in. And honestly, for $15, it's a no-brainer. This thing will save you tons of money because a lot of shops will automatically try and upsell brake fluid changes whenever they have you come in to do brakes. Thanks, Tasman, for helping me make sure that I don't drive off a cliff. All right, without further ado, I think our Porsche Cayenne is ready. No, sir.
Oh, can you get a video of that?
the safe thing to do would be to pull the plug, spin it over, and it kicks the water out.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we were driving for that like half a mile, that was nice.
Violent. Nice. Nice. Okay. Impressive.
Good night.
Oh.
Dude, we can beat that back.
I mean, it's still holding air.
Yeah, it's not. It leaked all out.
That's why you have steelies.
Alright. Cool. Beautiful sounds of nature. Art of hitting something with a rock.
I think it's good enough.
Alright, let's see.
Yeah, they'll definitely mount a new wheel on that.
All right, I'm about to do the scariest thing I've ever done, and this is gonna be crazy. So let's just see what happens. Everyone, I love you. KJ, you're the love of my life. We got this.
That was a beauty of a jump. You see the landing zone?
Oh my god, that was insane.
Was that the landing?
All right, we have no radiator, no condenser, no transcooler.
God.
Oh, the sun is kind of fucked, but I think our suspension is.
You bumped.
Way better too.
That was insane. 20 feet in the air, nice. All right, we've gone airborne.
We landed very heavy on the left.
Yeah, because I was trying to correct it. It kept pulling it towards the left, and I knew that those ruts were there from Carson. My exhaust is still holding on. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Now the question is it gonna start? Woo! If that isn't worth subscribing, I don't know what is. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.